Basically, a friend of mine was passing the Zimbabwean embassy. I lived in Zimbabwe for 3 years when I was a kid. And Morgan Tsvangirai, who is trying to bring a bit of democracy to Zimbabwe at this time, hopefully, God bless him wherever he's at, and the whole thing. And yeah, it was a placard outside the Zimbabwean embassy, and Morgan Tsvangirai said there is no freedom without sacrifice. And that touches definitely on the political, and that whole thing just resonated with me, and it resonates spiritually, resonates in terms of like the graft on the album. It's been a very hard, it's been the hardest years of my life, if I'm honest, like making the album. Not because the album was there, just the way life is sometimes. And it's taken a lot out of me, so this is my sacrifice, to hopefully bring myself a little bit of freedom, bring other people a little bit of some joy, some hope and stuff as well. So yeah, that works on a lot of levels. So when rock and roll came out in the 1950s, the whole church was like, well, you know what, rock and roll music is of the devil, we'll have nothing to do with it. A couple hundred years before that, when people started using minor chords and like diminished chords, thank you. Where it's like you can't use those chords to to worship God because it's a diminished thing. Those are the devil's chords. It feels like history repeating itself. Now that's not to say that hip hop hasn't got some content which spiritually might be very negative or might not be wise to listen to. Goodness knows I hate about 80% of hip hop, even though I love hip hop. And I can even regard myself as part of hip hop, part of hip hop culture, definitely, immersed in hip hop culture, but you've got to be wise in what you listen to. Same time I do shock out to the Wu-Tang Clan's first album, which is one of the most violent albums ever, but I think it's about truth, and it's about being wise. And like, you go watch a movie, go watch Transformers, you use a lot of things to filter out as a young man, you don't want to be concentrating on violence or TNA, and Megan Fox, and I've got a girlfriend, I don't need to be thinking about Megan Fox. So with any kind of approaching art as a believer, you filter out what's appropriate to you, what's not appropriate to you. What do you think about that? Let's question it. But I've answered your question in a long-winded way, but I'm just saying, like, the church has responsibility to, if the church is serious about reaching culture, then it needs to get involved in culture. And Jesus was out in some dodgy places, but bringing light. And I don't want to start smoking crack or chasing girls crazily. It's not my vibe, but it's just not me. But yeah, hip hop's a place. So it can't all be bad. And you can go there and you can change that place and you can have a conversation with someone. So hip hop's is an important place to me. I love it. When I'm gone, rest in peace. Some of the hardest collaborations to get were actually people that I'm just fans of and no one knows who they are, but we're like, okay, we need an album, and I went into hibernation. And then came out with this album, and I was playing some of the rough demos of the album to Corinne, and she was like, oh, I like that track. And I was like, oh, I fancy featuring her on track. She's like, oh, I want that one. I'm like, so okay, she's already on that one. She's like, well, that's the one I feel. And I was like, okay. So I went away and wrote something for her, and she just clicked with it, and she smashed it in the studio. Like, it's a big difference recording with Corinne in 2003 when she was starting out, and now she's like a ninja. She's like a soul Jedi. Yeah. And she's take was like, bam, is that alright? Yeah, let's try it again. So that's what it was like, and me and the engineer were just were loving it. So yeah, she's a friend, and she was literally around my house for a cup of tea. Sweat Kinch was a little bit more different. I had to sort of track him down, had the tracker dogs out, Alsatians, went through tunnels, jungles, literally like was waiting outside a radio interview, waited, pounced on him. It's like, right, I've come to talk to you because I've just heard your second album and it's amazing. And I'm angry because you're saying all the things I want to say. So can we work together on something? And yeah, he's a beautiful guy and lovely chap. And that came out, J Live, backstage at the gig, got talking, got some friends, we had some friends in common. and then just again harassed him really, and in a polite way, and he felt the beats, which is amazing. So there's a lot of collaborations on there. Some of the hardest collaborations to get were actually people that I'm just fans of and no one knows who they are. What knows the best yet? I'm nice like that. I don't know, feel the building. You wanna mess with me? Homecut, one of the best yet. I'm nice like that. I don't think it's so good. Just a best some of the things which aren't getting the press, which people don't know about, and they should know about, things like about Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi, we get like 5 minutes of her. So you know, people are rape is being used as a weapon of war by like the government in Burma. Families being systematically broken up. There's no democracy there, and everyone's just keeping quite quiet about it. Gordon Brown said something about it 6 months ago. Nothing's being done. Sudan, there's so much oil involved. China's involved. No one's doing anything about it. There's a lot of issues, and then even on, I mean, my thing really, there's so many things. My thing really that really inspires me is just actually people to do something, to participate, to try and do something, and have a think about something, read something, and it's really easy to make a difference. Like people there's so much cynicism in this world, and it's hard. Life is hard, but life is also, life is suffering, but it's also great joy. So it's like, we can write a letter to our MP about Burma. It takes 10 minutes. You know, I've done it once, I need to do it again. You know, you can join Amnesty, put £5 in this thing. So there's a lot of different ways we can get involved. And you know, we're so pretty really like the 4th or 5th richest country in the world. So with that, I think, you know, people in this country can get paid to do nothing. You know, and I'm grateful for that, because sometimes I don't have a job, but you know, that's why I pay tax. But I just want people to do something, to think about something, to challenge themselves, to challenge their worldview, because yeah, there's a lot. It's a beautiful world up there. It's a colourful world. You can go out and make a difference. Got some really nice reviews, some amazing reviews in press, and some other DJs and other musicians have really clicked with it, and I'm really, really privileged. But yeah, you can give me the tip. Right now we're just doing, I guess, doing what I know, what I can, which is basically every show is building, every show is proving to people that you can rock, and also that you're connecting with people and building a fan base. And there's nothing more powerful actually than connecting with people on the internet. It's great for that as well. But yeah, my main thing is making sure your music's as dope as you can possibly make it, and get out there and get gigs and do it. You know, it is hard, but like it's worth it. No freedom without sacrifice. Yo, this is Homecut, aka Testament. You're watching Code Emphasis Vision. Peace. God bless.